So if this is what we need, I mean, right? I mean, look at what we have today. It's more like there are so many dashboards and metrics and scorecards. I mean, every team, every department, every individual, I think they have their own, the dashboard. There is just too much of, metrics. And so, sometimes, there is just too much of information, but not exactly the one, where we really need that answer that always, since we end up missing that, right? And the getting access to it, it's still a bit too technical, whether it is from query languages to spreadsheets to whatnot. Everything almost in many places, even for us to build a dashboard, or rather, even if it is a self-service dashboard, it becomes like an IT project. Someone has to really work on it before we really, try to get those answers, right? So there is good amount of, I mean, especially for business folks, when they really need to get access to information. There is a good amount of work that is still involved, and then to get that particular information, right? And which finally leads to I think that the most important one, which is um, there is a good amount of time it takes, right? So the box which I have highlighted here to getting access to the information and hence decision making, that takes forever. I mean, sometimes it just runs into months before the users really get access to the information they really need, right? I think this is pretty much or rather, I can summarize since it's the information challenge today, right? So if I have to put it this way, today, right, with the way digital technologies have evolved, it is not necessarily about the information capture and the storage technologies, and the way we capture them at very, very high velocity, stream data, and all these technologies have evolved really well. The cost of storage has also come down drastically, where your unit cost for data storage is so much affordable. The problem has really moved into getting access to it. How do we really make this data available? For time, with especially with the speed at which we really need access to it. I think that's precisely what has really become the problem. And then how do we really solve this? Is where we're going to focus on, right? So, and there are two more aspects which I just want to highlight here. It's around what we really call as findability and discoverability. I mean, basically, how easy it is for someone to locate that information. And given the amount of data we have, it's not just about the straightforward answer. It is also about what could be some of those unknown unknowns. Oh, this is interesting. I mean, something, locating a piece of information which is kind of latent, and then that particular insight which oh wow, I didn't know this kind of moment, right? How easy it is for the users to achieve these two. So just to give an example, the findability and discoverability. I mean, so it goes like this, right? So what is the revenue last quarter? I mean, it's a very straightforward answer. It could be $1 million. That is how easy it is for me to get this answer. The discovery part is, by the way, hey, how this 1 million is arrived. By the way, do you know that these two products contribute a significant portion of it? Either it is a piece of information which is very useful to me, or something which I need to be acted upon. Maybe there are other products which are not really giving or rather there are certain regions doing well, certain regions not really doing well. How these kind of insights, especially when we have very, very large data sets, right? I think that I mean, the tools, or rather, the modern day applications have to really help in this discoverability, right? Another example is around this. Hey, say for example, what is the code count today, right? Yeah, this is the amount, but a significant portion of this is the way it is distributed, and this is where maybe these are the areas where we really need to focus on, right? And it goes like this. Say, even if I'm looking at my website statistics, say in Google Analytics, it's like how many visits do I have? I mean, there is a good amount of, we just launched a new website, and then, there is a significant amount, by the way, but at the same time, we have a very high bounce rate. 90% of the people, they don't even cross the homepage, right? I think these kind of both the facts, one is the straightforward answers, as well as the insights, the significant insights, which really contribute to that, or some of them, which are kind of latent and hidden. I think both these aspects are very, very critical, in today's world. Right? So, see, as the goal of any good information system, I think it has to help us achieve both, right? So this is what I meant, or rather, what we really call as, I didn't know that. I think, that's interesting kind of moment. Those kind of moments are rather, the analytics tool has to really help us achieve those.